It was a crisp autumn morning when my world fell apart. The leaves outside our house were turning hues of gold and red, but inside, everything felt cold and gray. My husband of 7 years packed his belongings into a single suitcase, his face expressionless, and walked out the door. No grand fight, no dramatic goodbye, just silence, followed by the click of the door shutting behind him. I sat on the floor of our living room, staring at the empty space where he had stood just moments ago. 1,000 questions raced through my mind. Why did he leave? Was it something I did? But none of these questions had immediate answers. What I did know was that my life had just taken an unexpected, painful turn. The first few weeks were unbearable. I barely ate or slept. The house echoed with his absence, every corner reminding me of the life we had built together. Friends and family tried to reach out, but I couldn't muster the strength to face anyone. It felt like my identity had been stripped away. I wasn't just grieving the loss of a partner, but also the future I had envisioned. One day, as I stared at the growing pile of dishes in the sink, I realized I couldn't continue living like this. My husband's departure might have broken me, but it hadn't destroyed me. I was still here, and I owed it to myself to figure out how to live again. The first step was the hardest, accepting that he wasn't coming back. For weeks, I had clung to the hope that he would return, that this was just a temporary mistake. But hope, when misplaced, can be a cruel thing. Once I accepted the finality of his decision, I began to focus on what I could control, myself. I started small. I cleaned the house, rearranged the furniture, and even painted the walls a cheerful yellow. It was therapeutic, transforming the space into something that felt like mine. Then, I turned to my neglected hobbies. I had always loved painting but had abandoned it years ago, caught up in the demands of married life. Picking up a brush again felt like rediscovering a piece of my soul. Isolation had been my instinctive response to the pain, but it wasn't sustainable. I forced myself to reconnect with friends and family. Slowly, I started opening up about what had happened. To my surprise, I wasn't met with pity, but with understanding and encouragement. Many of them had faced their own struggles and shared stories of resilience that inspired me. I also joined a local support group for women who had gone through similar experiences. Hearing their stories reminded me that I wasn't alone. These women became my lifeline, showing me that it was possible to rebuild a life after heartbreak. The turning point came when I decided to volunteer at a local shelter. Helping others gave me a sense of purpose and shifted my focus away from my own pain. It was humbling and rewarding, reminding me of the strength of the human spirit. Through my volunteering, I met people who had endured far worse than I had and still found reasons to smile. Their resilience inspired me to keep pushing forward. I began to set goals for myself, small at first, like cooking a new recipe or going for a walk each day, and then bigger ones, like traveling to a place I'd always wanted to visit. Over time, I grew comfortable with my own company. I discovered the joy of solitude and the freedom that came with making decisions solely for myself. I traveled alone, dined alone, and even celebrated milestones alone. What had once seemed daunting became empowering. I also pursued a new career. I had always dreamed of starting my own business, but had put it on hold during my marriage. With nothing holding me back, I finally took the leap. It was terrifying, but it gave me a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. It's been 3 years since my husband left, and I can honestly say I am happier now than I ever was in my marriage. Losing him was painful, but it forced me to confront parts of myself I had long ignored. I found strength I didn't know I had and built a life that is authentically mine. If you're reading this and going through something similar, know that it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel lost. But remember, you are stronger than you think. The pain won't last forever, and one day you'll look back and realize that what felt like the end was actually a new beginning.